All right, welcome everyone to our next presentation. It's my pleasure to introduce Peter Klein, who will tell us about innovating public sector collaboration with secure open source platforms.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I was just saying, maybe I overstated this title. It looks so fancy, but all right, let's give it a go. My name is Peter Klein. I'm a product manager at Tele2. I come from the far north in Sweden, Umeå. So 600 kilometers, another hour's flight from Stockholm. Why is this important? Well, this is important because I am a remote worker veteran. I've been a remote worker since 2000, something like that. I've never had my boss in the same location as me for a long time. I've had my people down in Stockholm, Örebro, Malmö, Gothenburg. I've been trying to set up, digital meeting services as a product manager, as an engineer, as a service provider, kind of guy, consultant. And now, finally, everyone understands me. You see what I mean? I'm talking about the need for post-pandemic collaboration. So I will never say that the pandemic was a good thing. And you sitting with the masks, you understand. And people have lost their loved ones. But if there was one thing we could take away from it was that the need for that and the understanding for collaboration tools, digital collaboration tools, just exploded. Finally, I was just not that poor guy in the middle, like this small on a screen where everyone's sitting in the conference room and talking to each other. Or everyone had their conversations around the coffee table, and I was like, yeah, Peter, we decided this. I could finally be part of the conversation. And that's thanks to all these tools. So meetings, chats, document sharing, whiteboarding. There are loads of other tools as well, but these kind of things are important. I felt that. I was like, yes, the time has come. We can really do this. I'm a product manager for collaboration tools. And I'll be honest with you, I have the entire spectrum. I have Teams. I have Cisco WebEx. But I also have a lot of things here. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why this, during the course of the presentation, why we needed something else than Teams or WebEx or something else. You see, public sector in Sweden, they have a lot of challenges as well. When the pandemic came, everyone was like, whoa, what are we going to do? We need to scale this now. They were there with Skype for Business, and they realized this is not a good tool, really. It doesn't fill our needs to do the things they need. The meetings are crap. The chat is fluent, or it just goes away. So they looked into other tools, and they were like, okay, what are we going to do? The first thing they stumbled onto was the regulations. Because as you know, we have American cloud services. Well, let's go there. Well, not so fast. For 3 reasons, the regulations were kind of a hinder block for them. They said, well, what about privacy? What about GDPR? And maybe not just GDPR. We have OSL, or the Publicity and Privacy Law, more or less, in Sweden, where you can take some information about a citizen. Could be very benign information, like have you been to this meeting, all the way to you have a psychological disease or something. Where do we put the line between what can we talk about and not in an American cloud service? So privacy, obviously one. The other one being data sovereignty, and sustainability and survivability. Can we live if the world changes? If we are, for some reason, cannot use American cloud services, or for some reason they are not available for us. There's a new regulation here in NIS 2 that says you need, or at least the Swedish interpretation is, you need to have 90 days of survivability inside an organization. So if something happens outside, you need to be able to survive with this at least 90 days. Difficult to promise that when you put your eggs in another basket. And the third one being, we need a fair and just competition between suppliers here. So there's no question, these things cost money, and the governments have to pay money to have this running. No question. But it can't be that we lock ourselves into an ecosystem where it's like, well, next time it's time to renew the contract. It's just impossible to go somewhere else. So they said, okay, based on this, we need to do something. The other hinder was resources. I mean, when you go into this and see, okay, we need to do something. Okay, are there 50 people in your IT staff that can just say, let's build something? Probably not. They're busy, they're skinny, they have exactly what they need in their IT staff. So that's very limited. But the risk they're running if they're not doing it, and I think the guy from Native here said it very, very clearly. If we're not doing something that is catering to the modern needs of a worker, the Gen Zs or the guys like me who kind of have a Gen Z mindset when it comes to open source or to tools that I want to use. I have WhatsApp for my football. I have Facebook Messenger for my family. I'll admit it. But I don't want my personal data when I talk to Social Security people like Kenneth and Anna to end up in an American cloud service. Absolutely not. If my children have something, I want to make sure that that stays here. So what happens if we don't provide something good? Well, it's going to be shadow IT. We're going to see people using WhatsApp for chat. We're going to see people using Google Drive for their documents. We're going to see people using Zoom for the meetings. And all of a sudden, everything we talk about here just goes away. So that was kind of the pinch that our Swedish public sector was in. And then they did something really, really clever, I think. And Kenneth is way too... Kenneth should talk more about this, I think. Because they put together this team of, I think it was 8 authorities plus a lot of hundreds of reference authorities said, okay, what do we need? We all have the same need. What do we do? They put together this working group, this project, and they looked at the market, like I said, looked at the market, looked at the demands, talked to all the vendors, including Element, including Rocket, including Microsoft, and say, what can you provide for us? These are the requirements we have. What can you provide for us? Some cases, they said, yeah, we have something. Some cases, we didn't. And they created a report. This is the only English output from this, but you can download this if you want to. If you don't trust me with the QR, take a picture of this and try to put it in, but I think you can trust me with a QR code. If it's too small to read, I'll say it's this. There are various legal options suitable for use within the public sector. After consideration and in the light of the requirements specifications, we have captured a snapshot of the market and identified several solutions that could either individually or in combination provide a suitable digital collaboration platform for public sector organizations. Sounds good. But to be honest, there was not one single tool that can capture everything. You had one section for chat, one for meetings, one for whiteboarding, and so on. And there was not a single vendor was in all those places. Because you had kind of, okay, this is the market, this is what we had. One of the top vendors, actually the first one in that, but there was, to be clear, no ranking. They were very clear on that. There's no ranking, it's just these are suitable options. But one of them was obviously Element. And I think that it's very good to read this. This is directly from the report that the public sector put out, where it says Element differs from other chat solutions in that it uses an open source matrix protocol, reducing lock-in effects since both client and server can be replaced with other solutions on the market. This means that organizations can still collaborate with each other even if they choose different clients and servers. The matrix protocol is based on decentralized design with robust federation capabilities built in. I think this is key. This is the reason so many of us are here, and this is the reason why CHAP is built, this is the reason why Germany and Switzerland use this. Because of the nature of this beast, you can take the best part of it, you can evolve what you need, but you can also always be in the same ecosystem. Even if something would just go pear-shaped and you say, we just don't want to work with these guys. We can still use the same protocol. We can still build it ourselves. For me then, as a product manager, this was great. Suddenly I have customers coming to me with a requirement specification, not just one, but the entire public sector saying, this is what we need, Peter. Build something for us. This was 2021, 2022, and we had the same questions from our customers, saying to us, you can't replace Skype with just a meeting solution. You have to have everything. There needs to be chat, there needs to be meetings, there needs to be whiteboarding, everything. So we had from two places we had the same demand. So that was perfect for us. So I'm just going to take it back a little bit to Tele2. Who are we? What is Tele2? And just to give you a thing about that, this is Sweden. Taken yesterday? No, not really. Luckily not. But in the winter, this is what it looks like. And again, 600 kilometers north, we have reindeers. I promise. We hit them sometimes on the roads. So it's, yeah. We are a service provider and a systems integrator. If we were in England, I would say we are the cable and wireless in the UK. So we have Telia as the incumbent, and then we have, like British Telecom is in the UK. You have your cable and wireless. In France, I would guess we would be Orange, perhaps. In Germany, I'm not really sure who's the challenger to T-Systems and T-Mobiles. But it would be the challenger, probably. But we're doing the same things. We have broadband networks, network as a service, security services, IT management, consulting, Internet of Things, fixed and mobile telephony. Now getting closer to what I'm comfortable with is the unified communications. That's actually the old traditional PBX systems. Hello, hello, bam, those things. And we have the meeting and collaboration part of it. So everything kind of falls together. And this, again, is my jurisdiction, so to speak. This is where I come in. And this is where we found the problem that we need to solve a couple of years ago. Before I go, I have to tell you this, because Marcus said you really need to put this in. We also work very hard, as many other companies, to work with sustainability. And we actually were named number 1 in Sweden, number 37 in the world on sustainability, on sustainable companies. And we also work hard with gender equality. We actually have a 60-40 split on women, men in the management already, which is, I think, great for a telecom company, because it looks a bit like this in here. Sorry. Yeah, but not enough about Tele2, and go to Tele2 Samarbete instead, or Tele2 Collaborate. I said that so you understand what it is, but Tele2 Samarbete is the Swedish name. We tried to build Tele2 Collaborate is a complete service which includes chat, video meetings, whiteboard, and document sharing. All handling and storage of data takes place in Sweden by a Swedish company. The service is based on open systems and standards recommended by the DSM project. 2 things to note here. Data is stored in Sweden by a Swedish company. Those American companies will usually come to their customers and say, well, we're going to store everything in Sweden. You're fine. My take is you're not. You have regulations. You have American laws that kind of supersedes that and say it doesn't matter where your data is stored. If it's an American company, we have access to it. At least I'm paraphrasing, but you know FISA 702 and so on. But this is us, and we're a Swedish company, and no one can take that away from us. We're only governed by Swedish law, which is good, and EU law, obviously. So that's what we were trying to achieve. But we've taken a bit of a different approach, and I think you will see it a bit later on. First of all, we looked at the deployment model. Okay, are we just going to build a national cloud service, a big multi-tenant service where everyone can use? Yeah, we see a need for that, especially in smaller governments. And just to be clear, Försäkringskassan, here we are a bit competing, but not that much. They can do government, but not local government or regional government. So therefore, we're kind of competing. We're very good friends, much more friends than we're competing, I tell you. But we also saw the need for on-prem solutions. So many, especially the larger ones, they will want to have their on-prem solution. We're talking like the law and order people, the people in green. A lot of people saying, no, we need this for different reasons. And having worked in the PBX or unified communications for a long time, this is extremely similar to what we see there. So 25 years ago, every PBX was in someone's basement, and you had cables running out of it. But 25 years ago, also, we started to say, well, dear customer, do you really want to have people and licenses and manage hardware? Don't you want us to work with this as a service? Yes, please, they said. So we even own the hardware in the basement of some people, but we manage it as a service. As PBXs became IP-based, they said, well, we don't want that in our server, in our basement. Please put it in your data center instead. Yes, we will do that. It's much more efficient. We can give you a full range service. We don't have to even come to you, and you just have your phones there. Now, as time has traversed, we see even more, and I think Sweden is ahead of the curve here on going to national cloud services on telephony. So we have most private and many public also going to these kind of national cloud services because it's more efficient. You get more for less money, and you don't have to worry anything. And it's a commodity now. So why should this be any different? It's kind of an argument. Why should I take a lot of people here, take a lot of resources from my own IT department, and do this? They first need to design, then develop, then implement, then maintain, then support everything. Well, you can buy this as a service. And this is kind of my pitch to my customers. I think you see where I'm going. And the cool thing is that we are able to provide all this in the same fashion. Obviously, this is much more standardized. Here, you get what you get. Bam, 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 bam. If we say we're going to have a service breakdown on Thursday night, yeah, you just have to live with it. But in this case, they can say, we decide the rules. We decide the security rules. We decide when you can do that, this and that. And you can extend it and integrate it to other things as well. So it's a bit of a difference in how we're doing this. No, I didn't have that picture. But everything is around collaboration service, digital sovereignty, and obviously security. And these are the customers that come to us that are very security conscious. I'm saying demo, but there's a big quote there. I'm not going to do a live demo today. Sorry. But I just want to show you a bit what we've done with it. We've done very little. Compared to a lot of others, we've said, as much as possible, let's keep this standard. As much as possible, let's keep this the Element way. We've changed the fonts and the colors and everything. We've done some tricky CSS just to make sure that it looks and feels like a Tele2 product. You recognize the rooms, you recognize encryption, everything is in Swedish if you want it, but of course you can have Albanian if you think that's better. We are still using the WebRTC for one-to-one calls. I see no problem with this. And the biggest feature of this is that you actually get the ring, 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 ring when you're calling to someone. So that's why we're still using that. It's the best thing we have today, but maybe Element Call will change this, probably, quickly. You get this happy when you're talking this. Usually I stop a long time on this frame trying to explain to people what is Matrix, what is the Element, and look at all these nice people down here. I don't have to do that today, so we'll just skip that. So we have a basic Element installation with one-to-one calls. But here's the kicker. So many people in Sweden still have their SIP-based video conferencing. So they have their conferencing rooms, you go in and you press a button and you're in there. You don't have to use your PC or something. This is still very, very big in many cases. And probably you're going to see the same in your customers as well, that this is an install base that they're quite happy with, and it's very expensive to trade it out as well. We also had this kind of service, a SIP service, so we said, let's utilize this. Let's not go to Jitsi. Let's not, at the moment, go to Element Call, but that might change as Element Call matures. So we said, let's instead create an Outlook plugin, same way that you did, but we took our own. That just adds a link to the meeting and a SIP address so that we can join either through SIP or through Element. And then we integrated the Cisco CMS, because Cisco CMS, what we built them, as a widget here. And it looks surprisingly good. And again, you get very happy when you run this. One of the things, so this is integrated here. We also have, when you click the link, it will actually show, are you logged into an Elements client? Yes, good, I'll pop this room for you. So when we click the plugin, we always create the room. I'll pop this plugin for you and you're happy. If you're not logged in, you will get to another page where you can choose to join as a guest and just get the CMS interface. No matrix or element connections, which is good for consumers or guests, so to speak. They can actually be part of the meeting, but not of the chat in this case. Also, if you take this meeting invitation and send it to someone else, you can just click the link here and go and join. And this is kind of what our customers were expecting. I'm going to speed up a bit here. So we have the third piece of this is we had another vendor with a whiteboard who created a widget for that. And the use case we've done is that when you create a project room, just click plus here on the room. It'll automatically pop this through an app service, pop up this whiteboard. So every project room has a whiteboard. Even the meetings has a whiteboard, but that's hidden from the beginning because we want to show this. But all the meeting rooms as well has a whiteboard. And that's a vendor called Innovating. It's also a small town in north of Sweden who's done that. Yeah, let's speed up here. So where are we? We launched this in April. And you can see this is our head of B2B with Amandine in Itista. We got fantastic press. I think Steve is just smiling there behind the mask. Yes. We got fantastic press in Sweden. So Telekom Idag, one of the branch or newspapers, put it in. I got my own ego boost by coming in the paper here. Today's Society, quite good. And we had Matthew reblog this post as well. And this created something very special. It actually created some sort of traction around the world, and we got this to run in every, or not every, but very many small places. I think this one is cool. It's an English page saying, Tele2 Secure Collaboration Hub, data sovereignty is eftersök these days. I was like, have we missed something in our press release? Did we miss some translation on somewhere? But no, they actually found it themselves. This one is a US paper who a couple of hours later picked it up and was like, oh, like, how can we spin this? So it says, Sweden's public sector has ditched big tech in the name of privacy as a major telecom provider unveiled a new secure collaboration hub. That was good. That's really good. So we're very happy with the launch. We've also had a lot of meetings with customers and so on. We are planning a few marketing events. I'll be honest with you, we don't have a customer we can talk about today, but we acknowledge and we know this is going to be a long way. We need to have the patience here to get it. So right now we're doing marketing activities, me being here, one of them actually. We're trying a lot of customers, and we have, I didn't mention that, we have 60-40 split on the public sector versus private sector, and 82% of all public sector customers are our customer with something. So we are invited as a trusted advisor at many companies, organizations can actually go there and say, hey, look at this new feature. We have sandbox trials, and we're continuing development using, right now it's single sign-on and IAM that we're working on. We're talking right now how we're going to improve the widgets and so on, the usability and so on. And obviously being here is great because we learn a lot of things. So, okay, maybe that's the way we should do it. And what I've left is just to say, we really want to collaborate with you. If you have an idea, or if you want an idea from us, please let us know. And actually, me, Kenneth, and Anna, we're more or less of a team because we have the same idea. We want to go the same way in the Swedish market, make sure this is really, really successful. So trying to learn from every one of you. And again, if you want to learn from us, we are just here. It looks big, but it's just 10 million people. This is where it's happening right now. Cool.
Thank you very much, Peter. It looks like we have time for one question, maybe two.
Hey, thank you very much for the talk. One question with the video chats that we have with the chat window and like the whiteboarding and everything. There's lots of important information stored in these rooms. How do you ensure that people will still find information like a year later or so? Because it can be quite difficult to search through that many rooms, especially with end-to-end encryption.
Yeah, yeah. It is tricky, and that's one of the things we saw, that when you're using the web browser, it's difficult to search things. We're trying to promote the desktop client where everything is searchable. But still, I agree with you, and that is true for every collaboration tool. Okay, where did we say that thing? So yeah, I can just acknowledge what you say. It's a bit tricky.
All right, well, let's thank Peter once again.
Yeah, thank you very much. Surprised no one used that before.